One of my biggest problems in grade school, I was always being distracted by something or another.
Thank you very much for joining us. I am Mr. Autism, and here we are joined by Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Paul is being very, very silly right now, but Paul is actually one of my players in Dungeons & Dragons, and we're just going to ask him a few questions today. Now, let's tighten up this thingamajig. There we go. Grade A quality. Sarcasm. Anyway. So, Paul, I wanted...
Or grade B quality. You'll still get you to pass.
So, Paul, I wanted to ask you, first of all, when did you find out that you were on the spectrum?
I've known my whole life because I went to a special school.
What was the deal with the special school?
I didn't like it.
What did you not like about it?
Well, it all started when I first started going to school. I've had 2 older siblings who are both still alive today. And the thing is that they were both on the spectrum, and they probably inherited it from Dad, who probably inherited it from his mother. We've all had Asperger's.
Now, I like how you said Asperger's, because most people nowadays just say autism or high-functioning autism or on the autism spectrum or blah, 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 blah. So why do you call it Asperger's?
For clarification, and for exactly that reason, so it's not confused with something else.
Very good. Now, you said that you probably got it from your father, who probably got it from his mother. Like, what are some of the signs that your father showed that kind of gives it away that he's probably on the spectrum?
I have no idea. I can't tell the difference between someone who is neurodivergent or neurotypical.
That is very interesting. So how did they find out with you?
I guess I just acted weird, and they assumed that I would have inherited it from Dad.
Right, okay. And with that being said, what is one positive thing that you have found from your diagnosis?
There's actually one thing I would like to bring up. Because in my whole life, I have been on the spectrum. And even if I didn't know it, I still would have had autism my whole life. Still would have been neurodivergent. And I never would have had the experience of being neurotypical, even if people thought I was. Just because that's not how my brain works. So, I don't know the difference. I have no way of knowing what it is like.
So if there was one thing that you wish neurotypical people, or even maybe neurodivergent people, would be aware of when it comes to being on the spectrum, what is one thing you would like them to know?
I want everyone to stop screaming all the time. Throughout all of grade school, I couldn't focus because people were always screaming about one thing or another. In elementary school, kids were screaming. That's normal for elementary school, but I didn't really care in elementary school. I didn't put in any effort, which kind of backfired because it went an embarrassingly long time, having no idea what the days of the week were or the months of the year.
Do you know what the days of the week are now?
Yes. I learned them because Dad would not stop bugging me about it.
That I can relate to, because one of the things that I had is that I was on, like, I'm on the spectrum as well. This isn't just a cute mask. And for me, it was more hygiene, because one of my ways of coping and regulating was playing video games, especially in high school. And I wouldn't always bathe or take a shower, especially for a teenager. That's bad. And he always got on my case about that too, by coming into the room and saying, "Smells like rotten onions."
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything like that with your family, or even with a friend?
I just told you. Dad bothered me about not knowing the days of the week.
I was just curious if there was anything else. So with that being said, I don't want to keep you too long because we are going to get ready for our game, and I don't want to overload you or overwhelm you. Just one last thing.
Actually,
Oh,
there is a lot I want to say. I just don't know what to say.
start talking and then it'll come out eventually.
One problem, which I think is a symptom of having Asperger's, is that I am very slow. I write slow, I type slow, I move slow, and I think slow. And on top of that, a dad has ADHD. I'm pretty sure Jonathan has been diagnosed for it. My older brother's been diagnosed for ADHD. And so there is a good possibility that I have ADHD too. And I do line up with all the symptoms. I get very easily distracted. One of my biggest problems in grade school, I was always being distracted by something or another, and I just didn't want to do any of the work. I hate school. And I have no idea if a normal school would have been different, because I never went. And sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice of going to a special school. I don't even want to say the name of it. In my high school years, Dad strongly encouraged me to go to a different school because I was not improving here. And so but I was paranoid about what might happen at another school. And I assumed that... Here's one thing. As soon as I left school, well, not as soon as it, but I had a feeling inside me, not a strong feeling, that things are going to get better now. I've been told my whole life that if you think school's bad, it only gets worse when you get a job and when you go to college, and all of that gets worse. Now I know all those people were dead wrong. Things got better almost immediately. Maybe not that much, but it did get better, and then it got better more and more, because I was not going to school anymore. I had an actual job, I had an actual schedule, and what's important there is that life had changed. Things that I thought would just always be that way weren't that way anymore. I could keep on working without getting distracted by some stupid thing. Well, maybe I do get sometimes distracted, but it's only for a split second, and then I'm back to work. With school, I had to work on an assignment of a subject that I was not at all interested in, that I hated deeply, and it had to be a big, deep, brain-focused study. And another problem with school is I didn't know what these assignments were supposed to look like. I thought, will I get extra points if I make it so the document is properly formatted? And I didn't focus on instead make sure the science was in place, because it was a science project on an English one, and it would end up getting a bad grade. Well, not actually I got a bad grade, just I actually spent it way too long on it. And so what generally happened with my report cards, with my grades in high school, is that there'd be some assignments which were done and had 100% credit or almost that, but all the other assignments weren't done at all. It was this split in the middle of whether it was done professionally or not at all. And I remember that as every semester, every term when it was about to end, I would look to the assignments and thought, which one of these am I going to bother doing, and which of them am I just going to let go? I should never be a doctor. There would be a lot of dead patients.
So we'll end on this one. If there was one thing you could say to your younger self, whether it was elementary school, middle school, high school, that was going to help them, what would you say?
Well, it wouldn't actually have anything to do with disability, it would be stop being such an annoying little twat.
Thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for watching as well, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.